Hi everyone, this is Ants. This is a second video about my new plugin called the Godot Universal Settings plugin that allows you to persist a bunch of settings and also have a plugin that is renderer aware. If you want to know more about the graphics and audio features of this plugin, please see my previous video linked in the description. But today we're going to be talking about keybinds, and the reason why we're going to talk about keybinds is out of all the feedback I got from my original video and the original plugin capabilities, they say, you know, you need keybinds, right? And it was also on the roadmap, and I had a solution in another game jam, and I just had to pull that code and introduce it into this plugin. So I did that, and I'm going to show you the keybind support, right? So keybinds is now going to be another tab here, and it supports a maximum of 10 displayed keybinds. And I could eventually change that to 12 and 16, but right now in this version, it's only 10. You could have less, but 10 is the maximum, all right? And the keybinds are set in a scroll pane, so if you don't have enough space in your settings, a scroll bar will show up, and I'll show you that in a second. And you could set your keybinds by just clicking on what currently is there right now. So move forward is, so it's a WASD is currently there. Let's change it to use cursor keys. So I just click on it, push the cursor key up, that's it. Backward, cursor key down, turn left, cursor key left, turn right, cursor key right, right? And then you click save. And let's see if it persisted. Again, I have to prove it. So as you can see, it's all there. And by the way, there's a label down here. You won't be able to see it because the font's too low, but I've included an action detector. So it will actually detect to see if everything is correct and everything. So you could actually test your keybinds without actually building a game, right? So the other thing it supports is mouse, right? So for run, let's say run, I'm going to make left mouse button, jump is the middle mouse button, and fire is the right mouse button, and interact is mouse wheel up, and reset is mouse wheel down. And why did I choose these is basically I'm showing you all the mouse events that are supported in this plugin. Left mouse, middle mouse button, right mouse button, mouse wheel up, and mouse wheel down. Now there's a lot of other mice that have other buttons and also a mouse wheel left and right. I don't support that because I'm doing the 80-20 rule or the 20-80 rule. I'm only using 20% effort to cover 80% of the use cases. Maybe in the future I'll add more mouse button support and all that kind of stuff. Now the limitations is, again, you're only allowed 10 maximum to be displayed in the settings panel, but you could cut it down to 4 if you want. So the maximum is a set. The other thing is you're only allowed one event per action, right? Unlike the Godot project settings, you can't have a keyboard, a mouse event, and a controller event mapped to an action. I'm only supporting one, and also I will overwrite the project settings basically, and only so if you've mapped controller settings on move forward, I will overwrite it. So keep that in mind. I'm not doing any controller support. That's the other limitation. So keep that in mind. So how do I reset the keybinds to the default project settings? And I will only take the first entry in the project settings. And I'll talk about that in a second, and we'll go right to Godot after this demo. So you just click on reset and save. Let's prove that it's been persisted. Keybinds, and as you can see, it's there. Let's detect WSAD, and there you go. Everything is good. So let's go to the project settings. So you should not use the built-in actions. Right? Because I'm only going to take the first one anyway, so that might confuse people. So you should, you know, create your own actions and just say game underscore. So like what I'm trying to say is take the advice of the Godot and create your own actions. Do not use the built-in actions for your game. Now, what I mean by I'm only taking the first action, right, is if I add another key here and I go up and I go okay, I am ignoring this up. I'm only going to take the first one in the array. Believe it or not, you get an array back from this action, and I completely ignore everything. I just take the first one, right? And it has to exist at least one, right? So I'm going to remove that. You should put things in the order of where you want them displayed, and then in the plugin, let's go to the top. And this code of the plugin is approaching 1,000 lines of code. And as you can see, I put a lot of documentation here of what you need to update. Basically, this action here should map to your project settings action here, universal forward. And then the display name of it, you could have anything you want. You could be a different language, anything you want to do, but they have to map. And you don't need them all. So let's just say in your project settings, you have 20 actions, but you only want 10 of them to be configurable, then you just put your 10 over here, but they have to map. So what happens if you do something wrong and you don't have the correct action, right? And let's save, let's run this. You go to Keybinds, nothing will show up, and you'll get an error here saying, I can't find the action universal forward, and so it's not going to be ready. So if you get any red warnings of universal settings, it means you haven't configured your project correctly. So let's fix this, right? And save, and then we run Keybinds, it shows up, and no error. Okay, so yes, there is some configuration you need. There's no possible way that I'm going to know first of all, what to display on the settings screen for that action, right? There's no way for me to know what the name is. And so you have to configure it in the plugin, in a dictionary. It's very well documented here. Just put this, and that's basically all you need to do to get the settings, right? So the other thing I want to show you is how the scroll bar kicks in, right? The plush tests. So let's go with the default theme. This is the Godot theme. If you go to Keybinds, as you can see, the scroll bar kicks in. So it fits perfectly. It's not going to look that bad. It doesn't look great now either, even with skinning and themes. Let's go with the dark theme. Let's make it opaque. And let's start that. And you go to Keybinds, and as you can see, the scroll bar is there. Okay, so that's basically it. Your feedback is welcome in terms of new features. Again, I think it's feature complete. There is the forward plus things that we can possibly do. The other comment I have is if you actually take a look at the settings, I didn't realize it because I only do 3D work. Basically, this is 3D scaling mode, and this is a 3D scaling value. And if, you know, TAA and FSR and all that, it's all 3D stuff. So I didn't really kind of focus on 2D. And 2D has things like stretch mode and scale mode and all that in terms of 2D, and GUI scale mode and all that. And I kind of didn't actually touch upon it, but maybe I eventually will. So that's basically it. So in summary, this Godot Universal Settings plugin now has persisted keybinds with some limitations. I will push this code probably by the weekend. I have to do some more testing and update the documentation that nobody reads, basically. But yeah, so that's basically it. Keybinds are now included in the Universal, the Godot Universal Settings plugin. Okay? Hope you enjoyed that. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.